Alright, welcome back everyone to A Programmer Plays Metroid Prime 4. In our previous episode, we wrapped up some loose ends in Volt Forge, and then we punched our way through a force field to get here, where we have encountered a final boss, who did a little bit kick my ass. So we're going to just dive right back into it, and see what we can get done. See if we can do better this time. That was half of a health bar. That one attack, that I mean, I know that I basically asked for it by not dodging the big attack there, but still, I'm a little surprised that it did so much. I'm doing that little kid thing where you lean away from things in the game. Where is this aiming reticle of mine going? I can't aim for shit. What's the tracking on that?
Alright, let's get the rest of these on.
Famous hit it. Yay, 20 health. Alright, there's definitely, okay, so the amount of damage that you can do definitely does vary, because our previous attempt, I'm fairly sure that we didn't do that much damage to him. I'm guessing that the move on that is to morph ball? Why are you screaming? Why?
I count 4. We took them out once. We can do it again. Watch your feet.
Okay, that's not doing what I expected. My controller died for a second there. Where are you?
Thank you.
Terrible. me heal him.
I'm okay.
I thought I had the answer. I was wrong. You shitting me?
Bad news coming our way.
Feels like bullshit that you can just like not have weak points sometimes. Myself there. Big heals.
Armstrong is down.
Oh. Okay. So today we learned, if we don't save our teammates fast enough, that's a fail state. Wow, that sucks. Because now, yeah, we got to do the whole thing over again. Son of a bitch. Like, that's fine. I get it. I'm just bummed that we're... Like, that's 10 minutes of boss fight that we're doing again. And we have, we've done a big chunk of this boss fight before already.
Psychic lasso is working. All right, let's get the rest of these off.
I do wish that, like, if you were at full health, you could, like, you could do something to not absorb or attract the health bars.
Hit him with everything you got!
That was almost certainly a waste, but
Oh no, the arm's transformed! Keep it together! We got this!
locking in. Trying to focus on this middle head so that it'll like go down, but
Mackenzie, need your help! More arms! I count 4. We took them out once! We can do it again! Watch your feet!
Sarge needs your help!
does this? No. I'm kind of glad that didn't work, because that would have been not a good fun boss fight to spin it all in slow-mo.
Thank you.
Any y'all want to heal me?
Mackenzie is down!
Look, Mackenzie, how?
I'm alive!
I swear to God. You're one of my favorites, and yeah, keep being in the way. Why can't I aim? So, okay, that was actually pretty interesting right there. My teammates actually were the ones who got that pinnacle. So they really are actually doing damage. It's not just aesthetic that they're shooting shots. They really are helping, which is great.
Let him have it!
Okay, so that did not do damage the whole time I was shooting, which makes me wonder if maybe there's some bullshit with maybe there's some bullshit with
That dude's coming
if I could preemptively heal some of the team here, because I don't want them all to be in trouble at the same time. You know? Guessed wrong. Hold still. I also do wish that do we think electric's going to be extra effective or not effective at all?
Armstrong needs your help.
I'm up.
That's definitely not. Come on, team, over here, please.
I'm okay.
Aren't you standing?
Good. Oh, he's too powerful. Thanks.
Yes, focus on me. Left trigger finger is starting to wear out. That's the lock on finger.
Hit him now. Make it hurt. Let him capitalize on the problem.
Oh, phase
Had
2.
enough?
Oh, I'm just getting started.
Hopefully a new checkpoint. Yeah, almost certainly a new checkpoint.
Where'd they go?
hate this. Hate this a lot. What? I'm not clear on what it wants me to do there. Okay. Regardless, we came out of that with like the heal. Now this looks cool. Alright, phase 3?
Just
Question
you
mark?
and me, Samus. Come on! Let's get this over with.
Still the same skin. Found the little splat line. Whoa! You stealing my tanks? The shield generated by his energy nullifies all firearms attacks. Much more of just a traditional fight now. That was a bit of a waste, but it's fine. Miniature black hole draws firearms attack, neutralizing them. Only the control beam and the will of its user can resist the black holes. but where's the gravity coming from?
Shouldn't we go after her?
Tell me how and I'm there.
Alert! Spatial anomaly detected.
Great. What now? Here we go. Be ready for anything.
I like the way they animated. Samus kind of like shouldering her way out.
Never doubted you for a second, boss.
Glad to have you with us.
Samus, does that mean Silex is good?
Ready to go home?
We'll be right behind you.
This is scannable. Alright, friendos, let's do it.
Maybe if I, oh. Oh, your crystal powers the teleporter. It only responds to you. Wait, is that Veros? And that must be Tanamar. Home sweet home.
And you are sure?
Well, we're gonna find out.
Looks very Albrecht and Trotty
We're really going
laboratories. Right now with the multiple thingies. Oh.
Silex! Look!
I'm surprised at this.
Samus! No!
Protect the teleporter!
Samus, are you alright?
I got you!
Providing cover.
Teleporter's not gonna last long. You gotta make the jump while you still can. I'll do my best to stabilize the power. Yes! Restart the sequence. We'll buy you time while it charges.
Climactic.
Samus.
Back! No!
Enough.
Samus! Go!
Oh, I'm... Press A to teleport. I'm super curious, like, do we actually have the choice not to? Like, is this like an ending? I pressed A, just for the record.
Samus!
Solan be with you.
You can have multiple endings based on what you choose to do right then. I feel like it's probably just a bad ending, you know? But it could be the good ending. It could be like, oh, now you can fight the real boss. Wow, yeah. Gosh, does that mean that I need to redo that whole fight so that I can then choose not to teleport? Oh, that... Like, we started this episode at that fight, so 30 minutes of gameplay and cutscene. Only the first half of which was really, like, actually, like, difficult. Like, I was feeling it in my hand. I was clenching my controller. That's what I'm saying. Let's talk about the game as a whole, and not just the ending for a second. So, like, this game got kind of a bad rap when it released, at least in the circles that I'm in, and partially I think that's unfair. Like, we were always going to be, like, this game has been in development for so long. People have been waiting for this game for so long that expectations were always going to be unreasonable, right? That said, there are quite a few things that are kind of lacking on this one. Some of them major, some of them pretty minor. Let's talk about some of the minor ones. Like, something that kind of bothered me when I was interacting with the other characters is, like, they would do the whole, like, they're in an animation, so you go up and you press A, so they do an animation to get out of that, and then, like, where they, like, stand up and turn around and face you, and then they start talking and running a different animation, and that felt very stilted. That felt very, like, I compared it to Skyrim, I think, but, you know, like, it felt like a game from multiple generations ago. Motion blending has been around for a long time. The characters can, like, start talking as they stand up and turn to face you. That's a fairly minor change. Similarly, like, I couldn't invert the vertical axis on the map. Like, that's a tiny little configuration option. Not a big deal. And there's not an option for, like, scaling back how much you get, like, prompted on what to do. There is a tutorial checkbox, but that, to my understanding, has more to do with, like, the text on screen saying, like, hey, this is where you need to go, and not the characters calling you and be like, this is what we need to do now. Hey, you've gotten all this stuff, come back to base camp. So it didn't really feel like the game was, like, letting me explore. That is largely compounded by the fact that this is actually a remarkably, like, linear Metroid game. Like, you look at the areas, and, like, I even talked about this early on, where some of the areas are laid out such that, like, when you're in the temple, right, like, it's a very straight line. It's room, 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 with, you know, door at front, door at back. And that means that, like, you're exploring, but you're not making very many choices as you're exploring. And a lot of the choices you would make, you'd be like, all right, we've got 2 doors that I need to choose from. This one went to a save room, and this one continues. And so, like, having, like, a single branch off that is, like, only 1 long, or, like, a couple long, doesn't really feel like much of a choice. You go into the ice belt, and it's basically like, all right, here's a sequence of rooms, and this one technically stars out into, like, a bunch of choices because there's, like, 4 rooms connected to it, but, like, those are rooms you walk in and then you just turn around and walk back out, so it's not actually much choice. If you wanted to make a, like, plan a route going from one place in the Vault Forge to another, that's kind of the only one, the Vault Forge, that really actually has choices because of the little elevators. But for the most part, when you're in an area in this game, you've got a route back, and that's it. And then you've got a route forward, and that's it. So it didn't feel like there was a lot of, like, it really undermined the exploring. It's like, okay, I'm seeing this cool place, but I don't feel like I'm exploring. I feel like I'm sightseeing. That makes sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And that's a genuine, like, difficult thing to deal with, right? Like, having branching paths the player can, like, choose to do and not do makes things difficult. And, like, we can see this also with just generally how the game is built, where you've got this, like, central desert area, and then areas connected off of that, and they're only connected off once. Like, it's like, this is the entrance to Volt Forge, and if you want to go to Volt Forge, you have to go through this. That hurts the game overall, because it means that you're, like, you feel like you feel the backtracking. You don't feel like you're doing cool, like, zigzags through the world. It feels like you're going and then coming back, and then going and then coming back. And this is really exacerbated by that thing that I've complained a lot in this game, which is the load times. This game, you have a lot of loading screens. Like, every time you go to a new area, you sit there and look at Samus's bike for a while. And for a lot of series, I wouldn't really harp on that, but this is the Metroid Prime series. Metroid Prime avoided this almost entirely on the GameCube. That is GameCube, Wii, Wii U, Switch. We are 4 generations spanned here. Switch 2, if you're playing it on that. I'm not. I'm playing it on the Switch. Like, we've skipped 2 here, and so there shouldn't, like, the fact that we're having, like, more, like, sitting here watching the load screen than we did on the original really feels bad. Especially since I just played the Metroid Prime remake remastered on my Switch, and obviously it didn't have the load screens. Now, I will say, Metroid Prime had the elevators, but that wasn't so much a load screen as it was a world recentering. They needed to reset the 000 point. Scans collected 90%, that's better than I expected. Items discovered 86%, that's actually worse than I expected. And 14 hours and 2 seconds, so not what I expected. Hard mode unlocked. So, if I were now... Oh, post-credit scene. All right, the seed. Interesting. Pulling out the crystal completely resets the suit. Oh, just leaving that alien tree there? Oh, Samus. Saving now will mark this save slot as mission complete. If you choose to start a new game in the save slot, the item and scan completion data will be reset. Hold on, I'm slightly confused about this. Saving now will mark this slot as mission complete. If you choose to start a new game in this save slot, the item and scan completion data will be reset. So what does mission complete mean? Hold on. I'm gonna Google this because I feel like there's a right and a wrong answer here. Alright, so some quick Googling and Reddit indicates that this basically just like ends the save file. Like there doesn't, you can't do anything with this, you can't resume it. So I guess the answer is no, which does kind of suggest save game was skipped, alright? I'm betting that this is going to pop me out in the Vault Forge. Okay. Like, because I forgot to save. Oh no, okay. Ah, okay, interesting. Hold on, let's... I'm gonna create a copy. That way I can't screw this up. So yeah, Vault Forge, this is the last place I manually saved at the beginning of last episode. And then this is the auto save, presumably right in front of the boss fight. So I'm actually just gonna go ahead and Google something real quick to find out. All right, so I looked it up. There is a little bit of a thing. So I wondered, this spot right here where we made the choice, could we actually do something? So we've got a video here from Beard Bear. Gonna just watch this because I really don't feel like replaying that whole fight. My hand hurts. So thank you, Beard Bear, for this content. Let's watch and react. So choosing not to teleport is like the secret bad ending. Yeah, destruction imminent. Wow, it's literally nothing? It just cuts to black? Wow. So, there are a couple other endings for getting 100% beating the game on hard mode. Did I mute this somehow? Oh, there we go. Figured it out. I'll be honest. I don't feel like getting this. This has always been a little bit of a problem for me in the Metroid games, the Metroid Prime games. The scanning system, like, the game asks a lot of you to be like actively scanning everything in the environment as you run through. It's possible to miss things, but like the bigger issue is that it messes up the flow of the game because you're like, oh shit, I'm being shot at. Let me scan you real quick. And then, all right, back to the shooting. And like, I don't know, to me, that's not ideal. I don't know that it would necessarily... So like, we can make a comparison between scanning in the Metroid Prime games and like bestiaries in Hollow Knight, etc. By defeating a certain number of enemy, you get some information about that enemy and can read about it on your own time. Similarly, in Metroid Prime, by scanning an enemy, now you get an entry about it and you can read about it in your own time. They are similar. They do fulfill slightly different things in that Metroid Prime's scans usually tell you something about an enemy weakness, like, oh, you know, focus on this bit. This game, I actually feel like it did that less. Like, maybe that's just like an impression thing, but like we scan Silux there at the end, right? And it's like, okay, he's got the stuff around him, so we scan the stuff. It's like, okay, shoot the tips of the thing. It's like, cool. Is my lock-on going to focus on the tips of the thing? No. You still have to aim at that manually. And so it's like, okay, but why did I scan it then if I don't, like, get a... Like, yeah, I could have figured out on my own that I needed to shoot the tips of the thing. It didn't really feel like the scan helped me all that much. So then it just becomes, like, a thing that interrupts combat instead of a reward. Obviously, like, some people will enjoy, like, scanning things and then later going and reading about them the same way that some people enjoy in Hollow Knight. Like, you beat a certain number of enemies and then you read their lore in the bestiary. That's great. Some people will enjoy scanning things and reading about them right away. Also great. Go to town. For my money, like, I'm not really, like, I like having bestiaries because I feel like it's free content. Like, it's the game having a completionism percent that, like, rewards you. But the way that Metroid Prime does it, where you need to scan enemies and scan items and stuff, and really, like, comb the environment and look for stuff, I feel like it actually gets in its own way. And so, like, for me to play a Metroid Prime game and get 100% scanning, that's pretty rare. I don't really vibe with it. I don't think I've done it since I was a teenager. So, gosh, I haven't done it in forever. Obviously, your mileage may vary, and it's part of the series DNA. So, if they changed it, I imagine there would be people who are upset because that's one of the things that they liked. You can't please everybody. The elemental weapons in this one felt a little odd in that they were more like missiles than they were like different beams. You basically stuck with your main beam. Now that said, I did like that we used the elemental weapons to unlock doors, and then they just stayed unlocked and we could just open them normally. That's good. That in Metroid Prime, switching between beams all the time in order to get through doors felt a little clunky. So yeah, I like the beams as like general purpose keys that you only really have to like use once and then you're good. I liked having the shots as a collectible that we could power ourselves up with. That I feel like, yeah, let me collect a bunch of stuff and get like a huge ammo inventory. That's good. Stay awake. I actually did like the desert pit. I know that some people didn't like it, and I don't like that the sections of the world are only connected to the desert and only connected to the desert in one place. If they interconnected with each other and connected with the desert in multiple places, I think that would have been a very different story. As it was, it didn't make the world feel interconnected. It made it feel like a hub that all the other things are on. But I actually didn't mind the hub. I enjoy like the Great Ocean aspect of Wind Waker, and that's what it really felt like to me. It's like, okay, I'm in a different mode, and I'm just like zooming around, and there's a certain zen to like driving into the green crystals and getting them. We never did get the last of the green crystals, it occurs to me. It's a bit of a shame. I should have done that. I didn't take the point of no return quite as seriously as I should have, because I really thought that the point of no return was going to be like, here's a sequence, like we break the shield and then we have to fight off a bunch of robots, and then like there's a separate like, okay, now there's another point of no return. And no, they were totally serious about that point of no return. So that's on me. Generally, I liked the characters. The whole Solon religion thing felt a little weird, and it feels even weirder now with the ending, where Samus, as far as I'm reading it, Samus leaves the religious symbol on the tree, and it's like, okay, is this a gesture of respect, I guess, for his beliefs? It's hard not to read it as Samus is like abandoning this thing. Like, hey, I want you to be invested in religion, and Samus is like, nope. pass, which tracks for Samus, but also like I don't know, it does feel a little weird. We haven't gotten everything in the gallery. There's stuff that we missed. Cool. Can I in pan zoom? A little odd that we can't like just scroll through the images directly. It's also a little weird that they have like red indicators, so to speak. Yeah, overall, I didn't mind the motorcycle. I do wish that we had a few more upgrades for it that we could find to like make it handle a little differently, and maybe some like options. Like, hey, do you want to like essentially equip badges or Hollow Knight charms, however you want to think about it, like different like modes to like make the bike handle differently? Because for me, like the fishtailing thing, I never quite got the hang of it. I liked Mackenzie. He did get character assassinated a little bit for me because he was the one who was like pestering me about what to do. I liked Duke. I liked Armstrong. I feel like Armstrong's an interesting one because you can read her interactions with Samus as being very like, fangirl-y, which makes perfect sense. Samus would definitely have fans. But also like the hugging and stuff, I'm sure that there are people who are shipping them. And I feel like that was probably a very deliberate choice. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna give the shippers something to work with here. Barely saw Samus's ship. Silex is interesting as a villain because he, the game just like starts hot and heavy with Silex, and then there's probably lore inside of the scans where you can like figure out more about him, but I didn't read it, and so like it's not that it wasn't in the game, presumably, but for me, because I didn't want to like sit down and like put on my reading glasses and go through my codex, it didn't really feel like I should like it. Silex kind of feels a little bit out of left field, which is, to be fair, kind of true for most Metroid villains, right? Like you get Ridley and you're just like, huh, Space Dragon, I guess, okay, sure, whatever. I was kind of expecting some reveal about like, oh, Silex is one of the members of the team. He's Mackenzie, but in a terrible timeline where he got trapped on the planet by Samus. And that didn't, as far as I know, that's not the story. Like, it might be the story. Who knows? I liked View. It did annoy me that View just kept getting in my way in that final fight. Speaking of, I was quite surprised that final fight had the fail state with your teammates going down. Like, that genuinely surprised me. This game did the classic Metroid Prime thing where you've got that opening area that you won't return to, and therefore if you don't get the scans, you have fucked yourself for the entire playthrough. I hate that they do that. That drives me up the wall. Don't do that. If you're making a Metroid Prime, or if you're making a Metroidvania, don't make areas that the player can't return to at all. Metroid Prime sort of gets a pass on that because the frigate ends up being the like drowned frigate, and so you can sort of return to it, and that's cool. I still don't entirely agree with that. I think it would have been cooler in Metroid Prime if you like found a teleporter that lets you teleport back up to the frigate, and you found that like smoldering, like depressurized, but still like somewhere you can re-explore and like find the secrets that you might have missed in the first 10 minutes of the game, because it's the first 10 minutes of the game. Yeah, I don't agree with this whole pattern of drop the player in and then take it away. I'm fine with the equipment being taken away, but the area being taken away is what bothers me. Cool. Look, we got the space pirates. Was Silex intended to be a space pirate? He looks very human. He's got human number of fingers on his left hand. I feel like he's supposed to be just like a dark mirror to Samus without being Dark Samus. I really thought that the Metroids were going to be a bigger deal. I understand that they were like in the bosses and like that was like making them bad, but like I really thought that they were going to be more of a thing. Oh wow, there's a shit ton more concept art than I realized. Beat the game on hard. Alright, I do appreciate this, that they just tell you, like, here's how to get this. I liked the design of the Lemorne. The wings plus arms plus axolotl bits, like, that's cool. You can't fault the game's like art direction. They did do beautiful work. Grievers looked cool and like did a good job of like if you're looking at them and thinking, you can go, okay, I know what you are. You're you're a Lemorne but corrupted. The different areas did do a good job of like looking different, which is something that a fair number of games mess up. I do kind of feel like the enemies, like, probably because the different beams were treated as more like missiles and less like beams. It felt like most enemies, the solution was just to shoot them. There wasn't much like puzzle element to enemies or like having the right tool for the job, which is not inherently bad, but it does kind of like, it's a bit of a bummer, right? Like, Metroid Prime being a 3D game can't do the positional stuff that a more traditional 2D Metroidvania can do. Where it's like, okay, this enemy is vulnerable from the top. This enemy, like, you really want to get underneath them and slash up. Metroid's just like, okay, well, like, you can get behind them maybe if they've got like a hard face mask or something, but like generally speaking, it's just shoot them. Yep. This is a lot of 100% things. These enemies were mostly just annoying, the ones out in the overworld. Which again, possibly an opportunity for the bike to have upgrades to make them not annoying. We were so close. Yeah. Okay, so we can replay the cutscenes we've seen. Okay, well, look, big picture, I don't think this game is as bad as people make it out to be. Is it the best Metroid Prime? No, not at all. Is it a bad Metroidvania? No. It's just fairly linear and has some design elements that I personally don't agree with. But, like, there's lots of fairly linear Metroidvanias. I know that, like, obviously the genre is defined on, like, exploring and backtracking and finding abilities. This game does have all of those things, just not as much as I want it to. And that's fine. So, it's a bummer that it took so long for this game to get made, and it feels like, you know, there's an opportunity cost to therefore, like, where we could have had multiple Metroid Primes in the time span that it took this one to come out, and then this one is just fundamentally not the best. But, you know, it is what it is. Making games is hard. Making AAA games with, like, high levels of fidelity and, like, insane expectations from the world is very hard. So, ultimately, I think this game it's fine. It's fine. And honestly, that's about all that we can really expect. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this series. I know it's been a lot of Metroid for a really long time on the channel. We will shift it up and play something else soon. I don't know what yet. I need to look at my library and make some decisions, but thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this series, and I'll see you in the next series. Until then, bye!